Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and after a couple years, it's back, the GT series from Realme. This is the new GT6, which Realme says is the true flagship killer. Realme was even on the cover of Forbes, and I'm actually headed to Milan for their launch event, so expect content from me. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll link to those down below. Now, is it a flagship killer? First of all, you get the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 chipset. You get a 120Hz AMOLED display, but get this, up to 6,000 nits of peak brightness, which is insanely bright. I'm excited to check that out. You also get a new triple camera system. You get AI features. It even says it in the corner there. So anyways, we're gonna take a quick look what comes in the box of the GT6, and then of course get some hands-on with this new flagship killer from Realme. Let's get started. Here's that flagship killer, the GT6 from Realme with AI. Flipping it over on the back, here's a look at some of the specs in case you're wondering. 5,500 milliamp hour battery, the LYT 808 sensor on the main lens. Anyways, let's dive into it. Opening it up, let's see what we get inside. I believe there's a case in here, which is always nice that that's included right here. So just a quick look, pretty standard case. And then you've got your SIM ejection tool, plus your standard booklets. Continuing through, we have the phone. I'm gonna set that to the side for just a second, build that suspense. And finally in the box, you've got your USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable for charging, plus your 120 watt charging brick, which charges via USB Type-A. On to what you came to see, the GT6 from Realme. There's a quick look at the back. Let's take that off. Flipping it over, again, same specs showing on the front. Let's get this peeled off. I do want to point out this is the fluid silver color. It looks really sleek. There's also a razor green color. I was hoping they'd send that. It actually looks really good. Anyways, I'm going to boot this phone up for the first time, and while it turns on, we're going to take a closer look at the hardware. Down at the bottom, we've got our SIM card slot, a microphone, a USB Type-C port, and one of the speakers. Moving along on the right side, make note there is a slightly curved display. On the right here, you've got your power button, volume rockers right above it. Make note, there is a little bit of a camera bump. And then up towards the top, we've got another microphone, an IR blaster. Really happy that that's included. And then I believe this is also a hole for our other speaker. Along the left side here, absolutely nothing. And a close look at that fluid silver color. It does say Realme right there. And moving along up towards the top, check it out, more of a mirrored finish up here. They're actually calling it a shiny metal mirror texture. Let's see if I can get my face in there. I don't know if the camera's actually gonna see that. Maybe it'll see me, maybe it won't. Anyways, triple camera setup. You've got a 50 megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization, a 50 megapixel telephoto lens, plus an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. Next, I'm gonna run through the startup process, just talk about anything that's noteworthy. You do have an in-display fingerprint scanner, and you can use face unlock if you'd like to. Setting our finger down, you do get a bit of a haptic feedback, and after this, and typing in my Wi-Fi password, actually I do like the haptic feedback. It does feel really good. Just kind of a nice tight vibration motor. Continuing through. And there we go, fingerprint added. You can add more later if you'd like to. You have the option between buttons and gestures. I'm definitely going to go with the buttons. And there we go, Realme UI, which is their skin on top of Android. We're all set up and ready to go. First things first, I do like how many wallpapers they actually include. There's a lot of really good looking and just really neat textured ones. These are all static. Now they also have live wallpapers, which will move and sort of change as you use them. So again, I always like phones that have unique and cool wallpapers included. And a close look at that 6.78 inch AMOLED display at a 2780 by 1264 resolution. So higher than 1080p, a little bit lower than 1440p. With that being said, it is a 120 hertz refresh rate screen. I can tell it's enabled out of the box, but not only just 120 hertz, it will go down to 1 hertz as well. So go between there depending on the type of content shown. So if we go into display settings, let's double check that. Screen refresh rate's on auto right now, which will change depending on the content shown. You can force it to 60 hertz, or you can force it all the way up to 120 hertz and app specific. So that's kind of cool that you can change it. Maybe my calculator app, I don't need to be a high refresh rate. I'm also noticing the extra brightness setting in case you want to take advantage of those 6,000 nits plus bright HDR video mode. So here we go, all the way up. We're gonna go outside. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Hopefully I didn't just blind you guys watching this video, but we're gonna go outside and actually test this in just a second. I also like that you have the ability to change the screen resolution down to 1080p if you need to for longer battery life. I do think most phones should have that option. Before we test out the brightness, I'd like to point out there is a pre-installed screen protector. I'm just peeling this off for the unboxing purposes, and now let's go outside. As you can see, it's a really hot 90-degree sunny day here in Chicago, and perfect, we can test this out. This is in direct sunlight. It's actually really crazy how you can still see the screen, but not just that, you can actually see it fairly clear. So really impressed with the screen on the GT6 from Realme so far. Next up, let's load up that camera app and just snap a few quick pictures, testing out that shutter speed. Seems to be very snappy. Again, you can go to 0.6 for that ultra-wide angle lens, and there's a 2x shortcut button there and a 4x shortcut button there for the zoom lenses. Moving along to video, let's go into 4K, and you can shoot all the way up to 4K 60 frames per second. Going down, there's a street mode, which is interesting, which gives you different focal lengths on the side here. There is a portrait mode as well, where you can change the amount of background blur. And going into more, you have a pro mode, starry mode, long exposure, so a lot of different ways you can take advantage of this camera system. More to come on this camera system though, so be sure to follow me on Instagram. It will be linked down below. I also want to point out that that mirror will collect some fingerprints, so you'll have to sort of keep it clean. Again, that's if you're kind of touching around the cameras, which mainly you won't be, so it's nice that they kind of made this not nearly as reflective because you can't see any fingerprints on the bottom. Very quickly, let's test out that in-display fingerprint scanner. Setting our finger down, just quickly unlocks it, so that seems to be very quick and snappy. Happy about that. I also want to point out you can just set your finger down with the lock screen off and it will unlock. Quickly going into settings, there's a lot of ways you can customize your phone, but there's also some special features such as smart sensing with air gestures, double tap to scan. I do have these air gestures on. Testing out those gestures underneath the front-facing cameras, an icon will show up when it detects my palm. If I just flip my hand back, you'll see it's the back gesture. And I believe if I squeeze 5 fingers, it should go to recent apps. That one's not working for some reason. I'll have to do some more testing. Other features include dedicated RAM for games, split view floating window, and just a lot more, including a riding mode. I don't know if I've seen that before. Now, if you also go into battery, you'll notice a GT mode where you can actually turn that on and it will improve and maximize the performance of your GT6. Again, that's going to take a toll on battery life, but of course, you want to take advantage of those high frame rate, high resolution, your performance, especially while gaming. And in case you're wondering, here's just a very quick look at what the case looks like. Still have that mirrored back. It says Realme right there. The buttons are all covered up on the side. Cutouts look good. There's what it looks like unlocked. So solid that that's included in the box. But anyways, that is it from me for now on the Realme GT6. Drop a comment. This is the flagship killer. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. A lot more content coming soon, so be sure to click that subscribe button. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.